If you succeed on those three elements, you are already living in paradise. When I bought Blancpain, I had no money. I worked at night at the post office. I don't want to be a big boss. I don't want to be Mr. Hayek. But when men love the wrong woman, then it can be a disaster. So we have also watches that we retail for 1 million. The money is important. The money I enjoy. The money I'm thankful. Merci. Thank you very much. But it's not the goal. So please be curious. Curiosity can help you to find your passion. James Bond. That's for all people.
Hi, my name is Ken, and welcome to the Chronedo podcast, the podcast where we talk about watches, business, and life. Today's guest, Jean-Claude Biver, is a living legend in the watch industry. Years ago, when mechanical watches were dying, he bought the brand Blancpain for 30,000 Swiss francs and brought it back to life, helping to save the entire industry. He later revived Omega, famously placing it on James Bond's wrist. And in this episode, you will hear why he was actually against the idea at first. After he worked for Omega, he turned Hublot as a CEO into a global powerhouse. And today, he's building his own watch brand together with his son. In this episode, we dive into passion, purpose, legacy, and why true quality leads to eternity. If you love watches, business, or pure wisdom, this episode is for you. Mr. Biver, first of all, thank you that we can be here and have this talk together. It's really an honor to me because when I was 15 years old, around that, I always liked the classic fusion, but then you came to Hublot and
With the Big Bang.
Exactly. And then I started to research on your name and I said, oh, wow, what you all did for the watch industry. I was pretty impressed and I thought, oh, that's a genius in marketing, business. But on the other hand, he's still a humble person. He talks with a lot of people. He shares his knowledge. So I really like that. So I read also your book, this one, the only one I could find.
Yeah.
So the first question I would have, why don't you sell these anymore?
I never sold them, by the way.
Oh,
Personally,
no reason, yeah.
maybe some people sold it. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I made this more or less for the students
Oh.
because it was at the same moment that I decided to help students in by giving them conferences. And I think each time I give a conference to young people, I do something that makes sense and I do something that might help.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you study, you don't get the picture of real life. You get sometimes the picture artificial
Yes.
of a
More
teacher,
theoretical.
totally theoretical.
Yeah.
And the education is something that I'm interested in because I believe education is the most important part of our life.
Definitely. Yeah.
Everything starts with education, and everything ends also with education. So education is like I would say is like a religion.
Yes.
It's essential to be educated, and to be educated doesn't mean to follow a school. Or education does not come necessarily from schools. Education means also behavior, means ethics,
Mm-hmm.
means honesty, means sharing, means love. So the meaning for me of education, the school is the smallest and the part that you really don't need.
Mm.
You more need parents that educate you, that give you the sense of responsibility, that tells you how much you must share, That is important.
Yeah, the values of your parents.
Exactly. So uh, I have a lot of pleasure to talk to young people because I get the impression that at least my life can eventually help or motivate or can give to people a direction. Because myself, till I was 18, I didn't know what to do in life.
Mm.
And so, thanks God for me, it was the time of hippie. So I decided to become a hippie or to move into a hippie community. And in this community, we had very good people. I really learned. I learned to share. I learned to respect. You know, I was working at the post office from 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. whole night at the railway station to to take the parcels out from the train
Yeah.
and put the new ones in, etc. When I came home at 5 o'clock, 5:15 in the morning every day, my friends of the community were sleeping, at least most of them.
Mm.
Because they were sleeping, I opened the door very quietly with the key
Because you respect.
because I respected. So I learned the respect. And the respect, uh, I not only learned the respect, I learned also to share. Because in a community, you are not alone. So you need to share.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know how to share, if you know how to respect, you are close to love.
Exactly.
Because love means I respect you. Love means I share with you.
Exactly.
Love is not just between a woman and a man or two men or two. Love is much more important. And so I have pleasure to teach and to share my opinions with young people because I believe they still need, because today, what do these young people get? It's sometimes I say to myself, thanks God I'm 76 years old. I only have 20 more years to go, because when I look at the world like it is today, I said, God damn, how happy I am that I'm not 20 years old, that I'm 76. And I had the best part of life, and I had the best part of the century. The, after the Second War, we had everything had to be rebuilt.
Mm.
The economy was booming, everything was booming. I don't know how you call our generation, but we had I was from a generation of success, of happiness. Uh, uh, I remember when we went to Greece, we there were no traffic on the roads. Crossing Italy, going to Greece. In Greece, nobody on the beaches. We could do fires
Yes.
and eat in the evening.
More freedom.
And freedom and no aggression. Uh, we didn't have to be careful that people steal.
Yeah.
You know, we could be on the beach and let the car 500 meters away. It doesn't matter. It was a fantastic life. And so beside my job, beside my, again, yeah, when I'm talking beside my job, I would have to say beside my passion, because my job is my passion. And that is also something I want to teach to people, to the young people. Before, the most important when you are young is to have a passion. The second most important is to try to find a job in your passion.
Mm-hmm.
And the third important thing is to have a partner or a girlfriend that uh, helps you to build you up and not to bring you down.
Yeah.
And if you succeed on those three elements, you are already living in paradise.
Yeah.
And when you live in paradise, you don't need to die because you are already in paradise.
What would you recommend to young people how they find their passion? Because that's the most.
Of course, that's the most important.
Yeah.
And I always say, the first time I had this question, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was in Beau Rivage Palace in Lausanne. And we were in a big room with 100 people. It was organized by the Financial Times, a conference. And next, where I was talking, next to my desk, there were flowers. Okay, tulips. And there were, it was nice, and there were different colors of tulip. Like a tutti frutti, there were some yellow, there were even a few that were white and rose, etc. And when the student asked me, how do I do to find my passion? It's easy to say I need a passion, but how do I do? Do you have a way to find my passion? And it was a good question because I didn't have the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I immediately thought, and I looked at my flowers, and I said to the student, have you seen these flowers? Everybody in the room has seen these flowers. Everybody, eventually, half of the people have seen that there are different colors of flowers, but they're all tulips. How is it possible that the same flower one time is rose and one time is yellow and another time it is even red? How is this possible? Did anybody ask himself about this question in this room? Nobody. I said, because nobody asked himself the question, nobody in this room can develop a passion for flowers.
Mm.
Because if you would have, and if you come tonight home and you remember the flowers, you will look on Google and you will find why the same flower can have 10 colors. How is it possible? What is the chemical twist that brings 10 colors? By doing the research, suddenly you start to enter the wonderful world of botanics. And entering the world of botanics gives you suddenly you get a passion for it. And you can say my passion started at the conference when the guy who gave the conference asked us, do we know why tulips can have 10 colors?
Mm.
And I made the research. I had a girlfriend. She was from Argentina. Her parents had a huge property. And I said to my girlfriend when we got married, listen, I should ask your papa, what does he do with all this property? And I asked the father, and I said to him, the father said, why do you want this land? Because I want to have tulips, and I want to do business with tulips, and I want to become the number one tulip merchant in the world. And I will use your land to have the tulips growing. You see, this guy, because he was curious, because he asked himself a question, he found a passion. Because the passion, you can never have it instinctively.
You need
Because
find it.
if you are Mozart, yes. If you are Picasso, yes. But those are exceptions which are born with the passion. You are just born with nothing except good education, blah, blah, blah. So please be curious. Curiosity can help you to find your passion.
Mm. But do you think social media and things like that, do they take away this curiosity?
No, they don't
Or
take
does
away.
that help?
It helps. They even
Because
stimulate.
you see more, you can find.
Exactly. There's nothing better to get stimulated today than internet or
Yeah.
because you can find anything.
For me, it's the knowledge you can
It's
find.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's enormous.
And you can connect to people, and
It's fabulous, fabulous.
that's true.
So, and so today it should be much easier for people to detect, to find a passion than it was 80 years ago with me, because we didn't have all the informations.
But
Today,
you get distracted more fast. And, you find things on the internet that isn't your passion, but you watch it anyway because
yeah,
it
of
distracts
course.
you.
But it can become, everything can
Yeah.
become your passion.
Yes, exactly.
But you need the curiosity.
For
You
sure.
need to go into the detail.
Yeah, and that's what you described in this book. You need to ask questions also in business. It's the most important thing.
Yes.
So that makes sense. You kept that since you were young, where you found your passion for watches until today.
Till today, I'm like that.
Yeah,
And I always ask questions.
amazing.
And when you ask questions, sometimes people are afraid to ask questions. Afraid because they are shy, but mostly afraid because they think, what will this guy think about me
Yeah.
if I ask the question? So I prefer not to ask.
Yeah.
And that's stupid, because you should take advantage.
Yeah. And for me, I made the experience in school. I always needed to ask basic questions because I wanted to understand the basics.
Bravo.
For
Yeah.
others, it was they laughed when I asked. And for me, it was like, why do teachers not interrupt that? It's like kids should ask if they do not understand.
Of course.
And when all laugh, maybe another shy kid will not ask.
Of
because
course,
he's
because
afraid or she's
yes,
afraid. And
yes,
that's the problem. But today, I'm happy that I always ask.
good.
So, last question for this topic. Why do you think that times changed? You told that you lived in a good time where you were born and everything went up. So, why do you think that changed?
Time changes because I also change.
Mm.
The mentality also changes. When I was young, we had to go to church, and we had to dress not with jeans,
Yes.
but we had to dress with the same the same as the papa. We were just a small papa,
Yes.
but we had also a blazer. And, today, everything has changed.
Mm.
Even I have a friend who works in a big company in Switzerland, and they wrote before in July that from now on you can come to business even in a shirt without a blazer.
Yes.
So they gave up the fact to put the tie.
Yes. Yeah.
So everything is changing.
Yes.
So your question is what has changed? The change is an opportunity. The change should never be. It should always be an opportunity, because in every change there is some dynamic, and there is some ideas which you can catch or which you can take. So the change only old people cannot understand and cannot take the change because they like and they have security in the past.
Yes.
And and I always try to be with young people because with young people I stay young too. If every day I speak to old people, I will end up becoming old. But if you talk every day with young people, that gives you dynamic, that gives you the future. So I prefer to connect every day with tomorrow than with yesterday.
Yes. And Hublot presents that the fusion between the past and the future,
Exactly.
and you live that
Yes.
every day.
And I made this statement:
Yes.
the fusion between yesterday and tomorrow,
Yeah.
and
That's-
that is essential. And today I have in my company I have my son who is 24 years old, and people say sometimes, "How come you have such a young child?" I have five in total, but how come that he's with you already? I said, because he helps me to stay young.
Mm.
I learn more from my son than I have learned from books or from other people because he gives me the vision, he gives me the impression, he gives me the mentality of the young people. He doesn't give me the mentality of the guys from yesterday. So when I have people that are 50 and 60 or 78 or like me, nearly 80 years old, I try to avoid.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? I do not want to talk about politics, but it reminds me of Donald Trump and his son, Barron Trump.
Yes.
He also told that Barron helped him to win this
Yes.
election. Yeah.
Voilà, bravo.
And it reminds me of that. Also with the age, it's a bit comparable. So
Yeah, excellent. I didn't know that. I will
Yeah.
use it now.
yeah. Donald Trump joined podcasts because of Barron, because he knew a lot of young people are listening and watching podcasts, so he will join.
I
lot of-
see. Okay.
that was his idea. He said, I don't know if it's true, but yeah. So, but where did the nickname Wizard of Swiss Watchmaking came from?
I don't know.
It was not your.
No.
Uh,
I was very reluctant to do the book, but it took me 2-3 years to decide to
Yeah.
say yes.
Okay.
And then the book was translated. I haven't even read the book.
Oh,
I, and this is typically my one of my biggest asset, but also one of my biggest weakness. I cannot read again what I have just said or what I have written.
okay.
To repeat,
Boring.
it's horrible. I cannot. And now I'm writing a second book,
Oh, perfect.
and the book is nearly finished. It was an interview with somebody, so it was easy for me. And the book was ready in March, and I still have not read the book. And the editor tells me, as long as you have not given your okay, I will not print it. So please try to read it. Now, I swear, I finished to read it yesterday.
Okay.
Yesterday, I finished to read the book, and I made a few corrections. So now it will go to the printer,
Oh,
etc.
great.
But I hate to repeat. What I hate, because in the repetition there is no creativity.
Hmm.
You know, to repeat. So what? To invent or to find a solution, that's different. That's dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
But to read a repetition, what for?
I hope you will also publish that, or they will publish that book also as an audio book. I also like to listen to books.
Yeah.
Like a podcast, you can listen to books.
Yes, wonderful.
Maybe that would be something
Yeah.
for you. You could
Yeah.
listen to your own
Of
book.
course. And you can do that in the plane, everywhere.
Everywhere, exactly. So if we come to your career with Blancpain, Omega, Hublot, etc., what I would be interested in, if you could take us or the listeners through the steps you took from the idea of buying Blancpain as a brand, and mention some important steps so somebody could learn from your approach, because I believe your approach of how you do business and invent things and the risk you take, it's something behind it. It's like a Beaver approach. I would like to learn from that.
The best you can learn from me is the fact that I have done nothing myself. That everything I have done is the result of a collaboration or a friendship or what I have learned from others. I am not a solitaire. I could not, I'm not interested to go alone on the top of the Matterhorn, uh, and I would never do that. But to be with another a friend, or to be two people, three people, yes, I am ready. But to do something alone, I'm not so much ready. So I have learned to have a team and to bring to the team a possibility to grow. But when the team is growing, I am growing with the team. So each time I help my people is like my own help. Uh, and that is also why I had people working for me during 40 years. But 40 years not in the same company, which means people were following me. People came to Blancpain. From Blancpain, they joined me into Hublot. From Hublot, they joined me in today. So I have the same people. And I believe in the team. I believe in people. And that is for me the most important element. Try to have people next to you. People are there to make you strong. They make you strong, uh, and you make also people strong. So it's a win-win
Yes.
element.
Did that change a bit how you can motivate or keep them people around you that help you to grow something? Did that change over
That
the years?
Yes, because I learned to be more and more and more respectful. When I was very young, I had a lack of respect. Uh, I had sometimes quick judgment. No. Uh, when a marketing manager, a lady, came to me and said to me, I don't remember which year it was. It was probably around 1980. And she said, Mr. Beaver, uh, we should take advantage of the film James Bond. I said, what do you mean? Yeah, James Bond uh, they are now editing a new James Bond. I said, James Bond? That's for old people. When I was young, I loved James Bond, and I loved also Ursula Andress, but that's from the past. And she said, yeah, that's from the past, but today this film will again have a success. I said, oh no. And I said, no, because I was not able to listen to her. I was able to listen my opinion, but that's not partnership. If I listen to me instead of listening to the lady, I'm not a good manager. So I have learned never just take your own idea, make a test of, with the other idea, and then we will wind up. Thanks God, she insisted so often. And she said, Mr. Biver, please come with me to LA. And we're going to see, I make an appointment with Universal Studios, blah, blah, blah. And I said, she insists too much. Maybe I should go. And I went. And thanks God I did it. So today, I would never behave like that. I would immediately say to the young lady, yes, tell me more about it. Ah, no, no, no. I would immediately connect.
More information,
Of
and
course.
then
And I said,
can-
no, 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 because I was young. I wanted to go quick. I was not respectful. So I was bad. But today I'm better.
that's the most important.
That is yes. And everybody was probably bad when he was young. You cannot be immediately good. Life will help you to become better. So I have learned a lot to listen.
Mhm.
I have learned a lot. Really, I think the most important part I have learned in my life is to listen, to never judge before having listened, and if you and try to understand. The worst is when people have an opinion and they don't understand. They don't know why. So, I, yeah, practically, I have learned to become a good, a good boy, and I was a bad boy before.
And today, in your company, today with your son together,
Same. I listened a lot. I listen more than ever.
but does he decide in the end? Is he like
Yeah.
in charge of the decisions, or
He,
is it
he
the
he's in charge of the design.
okay?
He's yeah, the design manager of my company. And we have, I must say, if I judge my own brand, I think we, I'm 76 years old. I have never seen such great watches than I see today. Never. Yesterday I said, I buy the watch. And they said, no, because we decided to make 7 and they are all sold, Mr. Beaver. I said, man, but I cannot buy this. No, you cannot buy because we decided to make 7 and the 7 are sold. So I cannot buy. I have a company that belongs to me 100%. And when I came home yesterday evening, I said, wow, that's great. Then I was happy. But first, the reaction was, come on, hey, come on.
Did you-
And
Which watch is your favorite of the Beaver watches?
that's the watch that will come out.
Is it already on the internet?
No, no, it's a special edition with a movement that is on the internet, hour, minute, second. It has a very fine, sophisticated movement, and the watch has a enamel black and a black enamel dial, which and then gold numbers and gold hands. The watch is just phenomenal because this black enamel is magic. And wow, so it's a magic watch. The design is so good. I wrote a letter to my son yesterday evening saying, wow, what a great achievement. And that gives me also a lot of pleasure because finally I respect that the team said, even if you are the owner, you cannot get.
Yeah, that's
I said, what?
a statement.
I cannot get?
Yeah.
Come on, it's my company. No, but we sold it. And please, and we don't want to do more than 7. So, as a respect, I said, okay. But that attitude, I can swear I wouldn't have had it when I was 40 years old. I have the attitude now.
What would you have done back then?
I would say, no,
One is for me.
one is for me. Or you produce one more.
One more.
You 8 instead of 7.
Yeah.
And 8 is also a good number. 8 is a lucky number, eternity.
Yeah.
So please make 8.
8.
But here I didn't want to.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Ken, and I created the free AI tool, chronedoai.com, you can use to make your wrist shots or watch photos look even better. Just go to my website, chronedoai.com, and check it out for free. Do you think you need a professional photo to sell your watch or post it on Instagram? You're right, but you don't need a professional photo studio for that. Take a photo anywhere in your living room, your bedroom, even right after you're getting out of bed. It really doesn't matter. Then go to chronedoai.com, upload your photo, choose a background style, and that's it. You'll get a great looking image ready to post or sell. Check it out for free on chronedoai.com.
And where do you see the future of this company? With all the things that happening right now with AI, with economics, politics,
I see enormous future for this company for a few reasons. The watches we produce, they must be careful now. They have a quality that opens the door of eternity, but they cannot enter into eternity because you can only enter once you die. But this watch stops at the entry of eternity, and the watch waits till the owner dies, and then that's the entry. To produce the product that during you are alive, that brings you close to eternity, and then when you die, all the doors of eternity are open and you enter. But that's fantastic. That gives to life another meaning, and it gives also to the death another meaning, and it gives to eternity another meaning. And that is my ambition, to produce watches that have the possibility to enter eternity and to come close to eternity when the owner of the watch wears it and he is alive, and when he dies, then the watch is in eternity. And that is incredible. And it's I'm not from any religion, and I believe we have a lot of future for this. The future of human being is the soul. And the same, the soul is also something that is eternal. And we need to have an environment where we have souls, where we have emotions, where we have love. And the more we get into internet, the more we have electronics, the more we are industrialized, the more people want to come back to something very simple.
Mm.
and, and voila. And that's my belief. And for this type of products, you need a lot of sincerity. You need and you need quality. Quality driven to the extreme limit. Quality is the way to go or to achieve eternity. And Mr. Gucci, that's I have never known him, but Mr. Gucci, when he was young, he said, long, 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 long time after people have forgotten the price of the object, the quality remains.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. That is something that tells you what quality can do.
Mm.
Thanks to quality, you can even forget the price you paid.
Yes. But do you believe if you have a high quality product with your watch, do you also need a successful marketing and sales?
No,
Or does the watch itself
the watch,
sales when it's a high quality watch?
the watch does the job, not the marketing. Because the marketing, everybody can do marketing.
Mm.
There are even marketing schools, but schools to tell you how you can give birth to a soul, that doesn't exist so much.
Mm.
But so I hate, not I, it's not that I hate, but I think my dream is to be just driven by the soul, driven by the deep, deep quality, the deep values. And when we polish the head of a screw and we polish it to a degree that it is like a mirror. Bam! And then in the middle, you have there to put the screwdriver. And we have 92 screws in one movement. And the 92 screws, which you can never see because they are inside, except the watchmaker, he can see, yes, but the user cannot see it. And you put 47 minutes per screw to do this polishing and angle.
And nobody can see the word.
Nobody can see, but 47 minutes multiplied by 92 screws, I don't know how much it makes, but it makes like 4,000 minutes just to polish screws that nobody can see. Why do you do it? I do it because the soul, that is what the soul need. And as long as you have not polished the 92 screws, the soul will remain inside the watch. The soul can only get out if you prepare the way out. So, and that is my philosophy. And this type of philosophy is coming back, will come back.
Mm.
Because 400 years ago, this theory that I just explained was normal. Every watch was like that. It's just the industrialization that changed. Thanks God, like this, more people can have a watch,
Yes.
okay. But this past should not die. And I want to be a brand that keeps these values alive. And then when I die, I hope my son will keep it again alive. And then his son again. So I want to start a legacy and I want to have as my example the soul. I have one boss, that's my soul.
Mm.
She commands, she tells me every morning what to do.
And I believe the challenging part for this is that you can give the values to your grandson and grandson. That's the hardest part.
Yeah.
When you are dead, you cannot
You
talk
don't command anymore. No?
But maybe with the AI, as a fun idea, you can put yourself into an AI and then your grandchild could talk to you with an AI and he knows your values then. But that's
Yeah, why not? Why it's
No,
not? It's
no.
not stupid.
So what I want to ask already before, you talked about education, and I was asking myself why, or maybe you did, but as I know, you never started a school or education system.
Because it's not my passion.
That's the
My passion are watches, but it doesn't avoid me to do something for the soul
Mhm.
and to be very conscious and very respectful. But my major passion is watches.
So let's come back to another topic. when you started with Blancpain, did you had that vision that it will grow that fast and that
No.
what
Grow-
was your vision back then?
The growth.
Just to live your passion and
No. The when I bought Blancpain, I had no money. I worked at night at the post office.
you were a student back then, or
Yeah, I was a student, but I worked even later at
Yes.
the post office, not being a student anymore, to make money. And Credit Suisse was my first bank to which I went, and I said, I need 30,000 Swiss francs. They gave me, by the way, 30,000 Swiss francs. But I had to go to Zurich and to present my project to, I don't know, 3 or 4 people. And one of them, I remember, was Mr. Probst. And I had a Mont Blanc pen. And I took my Mont Blanc pen and I said to these people, look, this is my pen. These are my fingers. You see, there's some, how do you say, the
yeah, some of the color ink, yes.
I still have ink on one finger.
Yes.
I washed the fingers, but the ink, black ink, it's still here. Well, I can take it off totally. It means I have this pen. The pen costs much more than the very cheap Bic
Yes.
that is always working. And this is expensive. It's totally absurd. And at a certain moment, shit, there's no ink anymore. And I'm in a hotel room and I must sign 20 books and I don't have ink. How do I have to take another? So this pen is totally useless, but it is with ink. And when you write, you can have your written, if you make a T,
Yes.
you can have a little bit larger than you have a rhythm. You can show your personality. You can express.
It's a bit like music.
Voila. And that is what I want to do with Blancpain. Blancpain is not a quartz watch. Blancpain is with ink. Or Blancpain works when you move your. So it might look old-fashioned. It might look not easy to, but it is different, and it has something from the past. It has value. Boom, and they gave me the credit. So since then, I know that my concept of working on other elements is right, but I can never make an industry. I will always be a small artisan, but
Yes.
that's my ambition. I don't want to be a big boss. I don't want to be Mr. Hayek. I when I was at Swatch Group, I was very close to Mr. Hayek. I was probably the closest guy to the boss. But my ambition is limited to my passion.
But was there a time where money was also a goal of yours, to make money?
I have always been very happy, very proud to have made money. I must admit, it makes me, it makes life easy. But it was never my goal. My goal is to see my trees, is to listen to my birds in the morning at 5 o'clock, to look at the sun coming out, or to look at the fog down in the valley. So my life was never driven by money, but I made money, yes. But I made money because of my ideas, because of my concept, but it was never made to make money.
Mm.
And for instance, my own brand today, It has cost me a fortune, and it's not done for money. It's done for the pleasure. It's done for my son. It's done for my people. So voila, the money is important. The money I enjoy. The money I'm thankful. Merci. Thank you very much. But it's not the goal. It happens. Okay, then take it. And I took it. And I enjoy it. But it's not the. Huh?
Yeah, I've read the book of Claude Biver. Do you know him? He's a famous marketing, also genius, like some would say, and he's also in the same age. And he said, money was never the goal, just the proof that you maybe did something that fits to the market and somebody wanted to buy, but it was never for him the goal.
Exactly.
It's the passion.
You know, the first price of my watches today, the the, the less expensive is 80,000 Swiss francs. 80,000 Swiss francs for a watch is already expensive.
Yes.
For a car, it's even for a car, it's already expensive. So each time I sell a watch for 80,000, I am pleased. I say bravo because I think about my people, I think about the company, etc. But we have also watches that we retail for 1 million, not 80,000, 1 million. And when the guy comes back and says, Papa, we sold one watch for 1 million, I'm a little bit more happy than when he sell me a watch for 80,000, but the difference is very minimum. Sometimes I say I'm even more happy for the 80,000 because it was a watch. Voilà. If the 1 million watch has a lot of diamonds, okay,
That costs more.
voilà, voilà. And the other one, it's a great guy that I love. It's a writer. I have another. You see, so money is not. Wow, for me, money is not the most important.
That's nice. I like that. And for your son, what would he answer to this question?
He would
Did he-
answer
He learned that from you for sure, but
yeah, but he is more. He is interested in the success because as he is creative director, when somebody makes a compliment about the watch, the compliment goes directly to him because he designed the watch.
yes.
He didn't design it necessarily alone. We were all together, and he's 24, and he still needs he needs confirmations. When even at my age, I still happy when somebody makes me a compliment. But the younger you are, the more you are sensitive to compliments. Wow, wow! Did you see? He told me that's great. Uh,
Yes.
so so my son is more happy about the compliment than about the money.
Oh, good. Good. Also nice,
Also nice, yes.
Yeah.
We, finally we have the same education more or less, or I hope at least. And I gave him all my good
Mm.
vibrations and philosophy.
And what part or what role plays your wife in this whole company or your whole success?
I say always to the students, and I told you in the beginning of this interview, the wife is extremely important. Number one, women are stronger than men. Women are brighter than men. Women are more resistant than men. Women are more clever than men. So, woman is the top of the humanity. If you look really the importance of women, they are more important than men. And they give birth. What do men do? Nothing. So, woman is the most important part of the world. It's the woman. And that is why men should always be number one, respectful, and number two, generous, because women is like a god. And voilà. So I believe in women. Now, women have this particularity that man can love a woman, which is great. But when men love the wrong woman, then it can be a disaster. If they were not powerful, it wouldn't make a difference.
Yes.
We wouldn't even not talk about it.
Yes.
So I always say to the students, choose the right woman, please, and don't be in a hurry. Because if you choose the wrong woman, she can destroy your life. If you choose the right woman, she can make your life. And behind every strong man, there's a strong woman,
Mhm.
which you don't see.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about women.
And did you ever choose the wrong woman in your life?
I think that if I would have a problem or lose my wife, I would really suffer. So the more you suffer when you lose somebody, or the more it was important for you. So I would say I never would like to lose my wife,
Mm.
because she was and she is important for my life.
Mm.
She is the Rella, and she's the mother of my kids, etc., etc. So I have a lot of respect of women. I love also women.
So, maybe one last question. How was a day in your life, when you were CEO of Blancpain and Hublot? How is it to be the CEO of Hublot?
It's wonderful. I was the boss of the team, and to have a team around you, a team that you love, a team that loves and respects the boss, a team that works, then you are not alone. You are in the middle of the team.
Mm.
And being in the middle of the team is a wonderful position to be. If I would be away from the team, some CEOs are very much away from their team.
Mm.
They are just, like bankers from different banks. Voilà. So for me, every day I come here, I come and see the team.
Yeah.
I say hello, and so there's a community, and I love the community. That's why I lived in the community when I was young. So I have never lost my what I love. I always loved trees. The tree is a miracle. When you think a tree that grows and that then arrives to 15-meter high, to 3-meter Durchmesser, you say, how is that possible?
Yes.
It started with a small, and the tree protects you. The tree gives you a lot. No, I'm a fan of nature.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bieber.
Welcome.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join our community, the Chronedo Circle. Sign up for free at chronedo.com/community. In the Chronedo Circle, you'll get exclusive giveaways, limited promotions from my podcast guests, and access to community chats where you can connect with other entrepreneurs and watch enthusiasts. Does that sound interesting for you? Then head over to chronedo.com/community and sign up for free. Stay tuned, more episodes with exciting guests are on the way. See you in the next episode, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and YouTube. I appreciate that. Thanks.